What is your biggest fear? What would it mean if you could overcome that fear in this video today? I'm going to teach you 5 tactics. These tactics are universal. You can use them to help conquer anything that you might be afraid of. And I'm going to prove it to you. I found 2 women who were terrified of driving.
So I flew them out to meet me in Las Vegas, where I used these tactics to help them permanently crush their fears. So are you guys still afraid to drive?
Yes.
All right, we got some work to do. The core of attacking any fear is something in psychology known as exposure therapy. Exposure therapy is exactly like it sounds. You take something you're afraid of and gradually expose yourself to it, first in small doses, then in larger doses, until finally you become desensitized to the experience. If you're afraid of heights, you don't want to start out at the top of the Eiffel Tower. You want to start with maybe a 2nd floor balcony. You progressively work your way up on each level until it becomes comfortable. Exposure therapy works because the human mind is an association machine. For most of us, our greatest fears are derived from some past traumatic episode or set of experiences. In Angelica's case, this past experience was surviving a car accident with her family when she was young. In Nora's case, it was her father's neurotic insistence that she was gonna die if she drove too much. And that association controlled both women ever since. So we started easy, a simple drive in a retirement community. How bad could it be?
Nora's going first.
My strategy was to start them on a quiet road, gradually exposing them to more cars and faster speeds. But to my surprise, even 20 miles an hour in a fucking retirement community terrified them.
Okay.
Now, there's an added benefit to exposure therapy that I haven't covered yet. This exercise allows you to process many of the emotions that are related to your fear. Angelica was visibly paranoid.
So from 1 to 10, how nervous would you say you are?
7.
Is it mostly the driving, or is it just everything?
It's just that you 2 are in the car.
Nora, on the other hand, was constantly self-critical. She regularly needed reassurance that she was doing a good job and that everyone in the car was feeling all right.
So, how y'all doing?
Now, the final and most important benefit to exposure therapy is that it teaches you that fear is something to be confronted, not something to run away from. And even though the girls were doing a great job, they didn't feel like they were doing a great job. See, because exposure therapy is inherently stressful and scary, making progress can often feel like failure. So I decided to try out a second fear-conquering technique. I threw them a curveball. There are many ways to practice exposure therapy. Escalating exposure to the actual activity is simply one of them. Some psychologists have patients visualize their biggest fears and strategize responses to those fears in their mind to help mentally prepare for the experience. Some even go as far as creating VR simulations of the scary activity.
Do you need help?
Please, babe, please help me. I can't
Okay.
do it. Oh my god! Oh my god!
One lesser discussed method is what I call orthogonal exposure. Basically, to give yourself a break from the daunting activity you're facing, do something that is different but also highly related. Surprisingly, this can have a lot of success with people's fears. Paul Graham, the famous VC investor, claims that he overcame his fear of flying on airplanes by learning the hang glide. A friend of mine once told me that he overcame his fear of heights by learning the ski, by standing on top of a steep slope and looking down the mountain. By attacking related but different activities to the actual fear, we give ourselves a wider surface area to create new associations and build self-confidence. Now, I hoped that the incentive to beat each other in the race would, motivate them to actually drive faster and push their boundaries. I guess I should have known that they'd drive slow as fuck. So, despite my urgings, both girls finished dead last, Nora behind Angelica, and since no last place finish can go unpunished, she was forced to pick up our lunch for us.
Can I get the wild strawberry drink, please? Hello? Hello?
Now, before we move on, think about a fear that you have. What would your first level of exposure therapy be to help conquer it? What would orthogonal exposure look like for your fear? For the girls, after a full day of driving, it was time to tackle a challenge both of them had only faced a couple times in their lives: driving on the freeway.
God damn.
You're ready. You can do it. It's just getting the reps in. It's all here. It's all here.
Okay. Y'all ready to die?
Well, let's
Just kidding.
fucking do it. I knew this would be a huge step forward for Nora. Fast speeds were her biggest fear, and avoiding the freeway while living in LA is like trying to avoid water in a bathtub. When was the last time you were on a freeway?
I've only actually driven on the freeway once in LA.
If she could conquer this fear of freeway driving, it would literally open up an entire city to her.
You can tell I'm nervous because I'm like touching my face a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely feeling like it in my body a little bit.
Merging at high speeds was her biggest fear, and now she was putting it to the test. We're there.
Holy friggin' Christ.
Eliud Kipchoge is the best marathon runner who has ever lived. These are ordinary people trying to keep up with his world record pace. He has 3 gold medals, is the only man to ever run a sub 2-hour marathon, and in his 20-year career, he has won over 70% of the races he has entered. One thing that's notable about Kipchoge's training is that he trains in the mountains of Western Kenya at an altitude of 8,000 feet above sea level. Now, for people like you and me, this altitude is absolutely crippling. We'd be gasping after a couple laps. But for Kipchoge, this is his standard practice. Because when he comes back down the sea level in Berlin or London or Tokyo, he absolutely demolishes his competition. This is known in sports as altitude training, and it can work for fears as well. If you take whatever activity scares you and you amplify the difficulty or complexity of that activity, not necessarily amplifying the fear, then returning to the normal activity afterwards will feel easy by comparison. At least, that's the theory. With fear, it's tricky. This is because facing fear operates in a kind of Goldilocks zone. If the activity you're doing feels too easy, you won't make any progress. But if the activity feels impossibly hard, then you can become overwhelmed and panic and actually create more fear for yourself.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Christina, you've just made it much scarier, haven't you?
So the goal is to find something that is at the very edge of what feels possible. It's in the Goldilocks zone. Not too easy, but not too hard. So I took the girls to the racetrack and rented some of the fastest streetcars in America. The challenge was to hit over 120 miles per hour, more than double the speeds that they drove at on the freeway. Nora's breakthrough yesterday gave her confidence, and I hope that it would inspire Angelica to be more comfortable behind the wheel. But she was clearly in a complete panic.
We're gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can do this, right?
It's a wide open track.
Yeah.
It's just you and a beautiful car.
Going really fast.
As fast as you want. It's gonna be good. Now, I was less concerned that they were gonna quit outright. By this time, they had both shown quite a bit of perseverance. But I did worry that one or both of them would become overwhelmed and potentially have a panic attack. In fact, this had happened to both of them in the past.
Well, we're here to push through and push outside of our comfort zone, so let's do it.
My name is Luigi. I'm instructor for his 440 GTB. Any questions?
No,
Okay.
I'm really nervous.
I got you. Okay. Accelerate forward. You're gonna make a right. Go ahead.
Okay, just like that?
Yes.
Okay.
This car is really easy car to drive. I'm gonna tell you step by step what to do. Okay, so make a right here. You never driven one before?
No.
First time?
Yes.
And then we're gonna make a left turn right here.
Okay, this is happening.
Okay? And and go for it. You're clear. You can accelerate now, but come back over left slowly. Actually, you can stay here. That's fine. Okay. Alright, so keep going, accelerate more, and we're just gonna stay here to the left, like this. And then we're gonna turn it now. Hug the paint. That's fine. More throttle. In 3, 2, 1. You can full throttle. Keep going. Keep going. You're almost there. Keep going. Brake. You almost did 100. Stay right. Almost.
Next time.
Okay.
Angelica's determination completely blew me away. This is someone who, in every other instance this weekend, never even hit the speed limit.
Just look ahead first. Squeeze that throttle gently, but stay left.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah? You okay though?
Yes.
Alright, so do the same thing, okay? In 3, 2, 1, go for it. All the way down. Keep going, I'll tell you when to brake. Just keep going. There you go, keep going. Brake, harder. That was 125 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Will Smith has a great saying that the best things in life are on the other side of our fears. The greater the fear, the greater the joy waiting for you on the other side.
You had fun?
Yes, actually. Surprising.
Good.
Hey! How was it?
It was so much fun.
Yes! Yes, it was fun, yes! Not only did the girls race the cars, but they had fun doing it. And this raises an important question for you and whatever fear that you might be struggling with. How can you make it fun? Are you intimidated of dating? Well, how can you make it fun? Afraid of heights? How can you make it fun? Insecure about your body image? Afraid to go to the gym? How do you make it fun?
No poopy pants today.
How do you feel right now?
I would have never thought that I can do that. So
That's incredible.
With the racetrack being a huge success with the girls, I also made sure to milk as much fun as possible. And little did they know that there was still one more extreme experience to go.
So now's probably a great time to bring up the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the largest therapy platform in the world, and you can access it anytime via your phone. Now you might be asking, Art, do I really need therapy? And the answer is, fuck yes. You need therapy, everybody needs therapy. Therapy is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, and both the girls here use therapy as well. The driver, pretty sure he doesn't. The great thing about BetterHelp is that you take a questionnaire and they match you to a therapist based on your needs and insecurities. Oh my God! You can access your therapist anytime via phone call, video call, or even text messages. And if you're not satisfied with your therapist, you can change anytime for AIDS. So click on the link in the description to get 10% off your first month of therapy at BetterHelp. That's betterhelp.com/Mark Manson. Start getting over your fears today. And I'm pretty sure the girls behind me are going to need a lot more therapy after this. Oh my God.
It's at this point we get into the fifth and deepest strategy of conquering fear: identity formation. We talked earlier about the mind as an association machine. Well, if you take the sum total of those associations, you get a person's identity. Statements like, I am a writer, I like long hikes, I'm afraid to drive. These are all essentially statements made based on associations. You have positive associations with some things, so you do them repeatedly. You have negative associations with some other things, so you avoid them repeatedly. These repeated and avoided activities then become your identity. Prior to this weekend, Nora and Angelica's identity was, in part, shaped by their inability to drive. But now that was changing. I decided to give them an experience that would reshape their perspective from tolerating driving to actually enjoying it.
So one of the dream experiences for a lot of people is to rent a Lamborghini and drive down the Las Vegas Strip.
Okay.
Now, I've seen my fair share of fancy cars, and by renting this Lambo, I had a hunch that something special was gonna happen. As Nora and Angelica drove down the Las Vegas Strip, people kept waving and snapping pictures and calling out to us. That scary thing that had been so intimidating to them their whole lives, now they were being socially rewarded and validated for it.
Nice car.
Nora and Angelica can never say again, "I've never enjoyed driving," because they have. They can never say again, "I have no good memories in a car," because they do. And tomorrow, they'll never be able to say, "I've never driven on a road trip," because they will. Up until this point, both women thought they would be flying home on the final day. What I had not told them is that I never bought return tickets. The only way to get home was to drive. It was a road trip.
I have a confession to make. I did not buy you guys return tickets.
What?
The only way to get home is to drive back to LA.
How did I not? Oh my god, I knew this.
You
was happening.
serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Oh my gosh.
A 5 to 6 hour drive in total. So you'll each drive 2.5, 3 hours.
This was the final test. The girls would drive from the Las Vegas Strip to the beaches of Santa Monica, a drive that's 294 miles through the desert, various towns, mountains, freeways, and of course, notorious Los Angeles traffic. The girls would switch off every hour or so, and at no point would I ever touch the wheel.
Our road trip begins.
The road trip started really well. Angelica confidently drove us out of downtown Vegas towards our first destination.
This is the final boss. If you can drive between two major cities, you're good.
Any fear can be conquered. It's a matter of choice, persistence, and a little strategy. But I haven't talked about what is maybe the most important strategy yet. Cue the sappy music. That strategy is called friendship. Nora and Angelica had each other. They encouraged each other. They kept each other accountable while I kept them both accountable. The biggest asset in conquering any fear is an ally. Someone who can help you tackle your biggest demons. Who can hold you up when you start to fall a little bit. Who can lend a helping hand when you need that extra push.
It is tall. I will give them that.
What's also understated is that Nora and Angelica made a commitment by flying to Vegas. They made a commitment to each other. Neither one of them wanted to be the one that bailed. And so simply by them both being there, they pushed each other. And by putting them together, I gave them both an ally and a supportive friend to help them get through each challenge.
Now pull up, go in the drive, pull up and turn right. Just a few feet. Yes. Now park it. Fucking crushed it. First try. Parallel park on a hill.
On a hill.
In Los Angeles. You can do anything. I've seen it all.
You can't half-ass a fear. You have to go all in. You need to set stakes for yourself and create consequences, and then find the allies and support networks to keep you accountable towards those consequences. From there, you ramp up gradual exposure, give yourself a little bit of altitude training, and reward yourself for each of the small victories.
You made it. That wasn't bad.
The road trip was a triumph not just because the girls drove for 7 hours on their own, although that was pretty badass. It was a triumph because we did it together. We created positive memories, and we proved to each of them what was possible. This is actually what matters most, is defining those positive associations for each of them, creating those lasting memories, and redefining for them what is possible and what driving can mean in their lives.
How was it?
It was so much fun.
Yes! Yes, it was fun, yes!
The greatest things in life are on the other side of fear. And the bigger the fear, the bigger the joy waiting for you on the other side.